I'm here with these beautiful faces to talk about Iotunn. Am I pronouncing it correct? Because I think I've pronounced the
Yeah,
name. I
that's
think
good.
I've butchered it before, so I'm trying to get it correctly now. We're here to talk about Iotunn. We're here to talk about Kinship, out October 25th on Metal Blade Record. One of the best albums of 2024.
That's good.
Not just of
I,
the month of October,
I-
not just of the month of
yeah,
October, one of the best albums of 2024. How the hell did you guys think of an album with this sound, with this essence, with this theme concept, and made it all incredibly beautiful?
we need to have another forbindelse. Ja, skal vi lige sige. Yeah. Peter, you're falling out a bit in the
Oh,
signal,
did it cut off a little bit?
I think. One moment. Yeah, I think we heard like two-thirds of that question.
Oh, two-thirds is a lot. Um,
Um,
it didn't disconnect on my end.
yeah. It's too much.
Is it good now on your end?
Okay, just try and talk again.
I talk a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine.
Is it working? Is it disconnecting? Am I talking too much?
Yeah, yeah, it's working right now. It's no, go ahead. It's fine.
Okay, so let's start off again. I'm here with these two beautiful faces of Iotunn to talk
Yeah,
about
yes.
Kinship, out October 25th on Metal Blade Records. Best album of the year. You heard it here. Not just the best album to come out in the month of October, not just the best album to come out of Denmark slash Faroe Islands, whatever it is that you guys want to call it. Best album, one of the best albums I've heard all year. Now, how did all of you guys were able to sit in a room, think of a concept, create it, deliver it, and make it sound as wonderful as it does?
The process started with as we used to do it with Jesper and I writing thousands of riffs and trying to piece something together that we can present to the others as suggestions for final songs or arrangements. And that's only the guitars. And then we walk into the eye of the storm from there with the drums and the bass and the vocals in a circular process where everybody's working together and trying to make all pieces meet, all ends meet, and we also have to adjust some of the guitar arrangements and so on. And that process, both the first process with Jesper and I, and also with the entire band, that went through really smoothly. We are very much on the same page, all five of us, when we talk about visions and what sound we want and stuff like that. So it's not critical at any point. It's really a rewarding process for us. And then the concept, that's a whole nother thing. We always wait to think about concepts and stuff like that, not until the songs are ready, because the lyrics and concept we think in music has to sound like, or I have to connect with the music. So we create the music and then we listen to it and ask ourselves what associations we get from it. Mm. So I think Jesper and Jon, our singer, and I, we had a meeting on the Faroe Islands some years ago, where we listened to the entire album, all the demos, and we felt like this album had a very dynamic, but also very, kind of a close to heart feel about it. It sounded very personal to us. So we talked about okay, what is first and foremost the essence of being human, and quickly it turned into that we discussed the term relationship. How do you have a relationship to yourself and relate within yourself, to your family, to society, to nature, to the cosmos you're in, to ideas, and
for us, this was so much the essence of what it is to be human. That, and also on top of that, because of the very organic sound we think the music had. So we figured, okay, let's put this narrative of the story with these themes. Let's put that in a mythological kind of prehistoric frame, where it's not a matter of something that's going on many thousand years back, but it's put like in our own little universe, a fictive, made-up universe where everything can happen, and we can have a lot of crazy David Lynch kind of elements going on also.
It gives a lot of freedom to the whole story to unfold, that we put it in this mysterious time framing instead of putting it in the Middle Ages or the 1960s or whatever era you would choose.
Yeah, you can leave reason a bit behind and just jump into this world also, which is very abstract and illogical and dreamy, crazy world. And also because we wanted to create a story that about human beings, which were set in also a primitive frame, and we don't talk about this simple way of primitive where we talk about something that is non-developed or something that is early in stages. We're talking about primitive as the primary things, the first things. What is the essence of everything?
So in that way, we remove a lot of disturbance. If we had put the story in any given era in the history, there would be a lot of things quickly disturbing. The questions in center here, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I will also add that what has made this album what it is today is also a matter of spending an enormous amount of hours working on the music. It's been one hell of a ride regarding how much effort we have put into this one, and that's for example the opening track we worked on for 2-3 years or something before we had the outcast for the guitar arrangements.
Yeah, and some of the ideas in that song goes even further back.
Yeah.
So.
Wow, this is really interesting because not in a million years did I think the concept was driven by the sound. I was actually wondering if the sound had been driven by the concept. So it's really interesting that went the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the other way around, but of course there's a lot of things to consider when the lyrics and the story begins to unfold that has an impact on the whole process from there and until we have the final master as well. I think if you look into how we chose to go around the whole mixing with Jakob Hansen and so on, and how we wanted the sound of the music overall, and how we how we hoped for the art for the album and so on. That's very much connected to how the story became a part of the whole process of the album. But as a primary thing, it's the music talking.
Well, that explains why the music is so good. And one of the things that's so good about the sound on this record, I thought the guitar sound, and I'm not minimizing drums, bass, and everything else, but the guitar sound on this album is almost out of this world. The level of textures, the level of emotion, the level of feelings that the guitar sound have throughout the entire album. It's almost like they're two brushes painting a painting, like working on a canvas. I was blown away by that guitar work and by how interesting it was. Does that come from those guitars being the spinal cord of where everything becomes born of?
I think that's a huge part of that, totally, because when Jens Nicolai and I are writing the songs from the guitar perspective, we also have a finish line for each song that is all about the feeling of having a complete guitar symphony to present to the band, you know. So when we listen to the song before we go into the Eye of the Storm creativity of all five of us, we want to have a complete feeling that just based on all the layers of guitar, you really have a complete experience already at that point. Because then we know that when Björn, Eskil, and Jon comes into the picture with all those amazing aspects of the music, it will turn out as a really strong whole piece of music in the end.
And another piece of the puzzle that it is this record, obviously, we can't talk about this album and not talk about the vocals. Having someone with that kind of a voice, having someone that can really bring that instrument into the forefront to bring life to the lyrics, but to weave himself into the music that you guys created, really creating this overall tapestry. How important it is for you guys in order for the overall big picture to come to life, to have someone that has that kind of ability vocally.
That's everything. Yeah. Jon is without question one of my favorite singers in the world today.
Yeah, me too.
And if not my favorite singer and favorite voice. He's got a lot of integrity in his work, and he's very creative, and he easily gets into a flow. So when he finalizes the lyrics and works on vocal ideas and stuff like that, he always comes up with ideas really, really fast.
And really, really good ideas, you know.
Good ideas. So
yeah.
So very quickly when we work on a song, we are really into it, and we can start to very soon get close to something that will end up on an album. It's his toolbox. He has so many. He can do so many things.
Yeah, and we're still discovering new things.
Yeah, he can also do a lot of.
But I'm sure it makes your life easier too when you're creating songs, when you're writing songs, knowing that he's going to be able to pretty much deliver
Absolutely.
whatever it is that you guys want to create. It doesn't put any limitations on the two of you in terms of what you want to write about.
No, it feels like a very creative, total feeling of freedom in many ways, and it is also important to have to tell that when Jens Nicolai and I write the guitars for the songs, we have Jon's vocals in mind
yeah.
very much all the time.
Also, it gives us a lot of comfort in the chaotic nature of being in a creative process. But it's definitely giving us a lot of comfort. We know that quality will come, and we know the songs will be better when he gets into it. So
yeah, all the time.
So it's awesome all the way around.
Yeah.
And speaking of songs, the Anguished Ethereal, is this the most epic song you guys have ever written?
Give us a minute.
Yeah, it could be.
I think it's. I had an interview back when we released I Feel the Night. I think it was actually the very first interview I did, where he called it. Is it just postlude? Efter.
Yeah, postludium.
Yeah, so it's kind of an after. It's something that feels after the other songs, you know. It's very
conclusive, maybe.
It's extremely conclusive, and something that the whole album kind of falls into in some way. I think that song has a extremely beautiful vibe to it, and I think it has an extremely dark vibe to it, and in the way that it's very much Jens Nicolai's work from the guitar. He wrote the song, you know, and it's very focused and true to itself. It unfolds itself all
Within
the time,
itself.
within itself, and it's so honest, and it's a very like very coarse thing, Iotunn wise. It sounds really like Iotunn in its epicness. So I think also on Access All Worlds, the title track on Access All Worlds was Jens Nikolaj's work, and I think these songs are somehow
Brother and sister.
somehow the brother and sister songs in some way.
They're definitely similar.
But yeah, I think it's one of the most beautiful and epic songs we have.
It's one of them, and it's also how you define epic. But for me, if we talk about epic sounding music, often what is the first thing that you grab to in terms of technique or arrangement-wise technique is that you go for very expanded and vast horizons in the soundscape, and to do that, I think you have to have a very, very simple fundament for the song. And we have it in a song like this, and also in Safe Across the Endless Night and Access All Worlds title track. In the chord progressions and in the riff lying below everything, the what could you say, the concrete. It's very simple, very simplistic. And for this song, if you analyze it, it's really not much going on. But then you add drums and lead guitars and bass and vocals, and it sounds like it's all over the place. But you always have this feeling that it's the same body of work, that everything is connected to something very simple and pure, despite all the changes.
Yeah,
and that makes it very epic for me.
I was at a show. I was at OPEX this week.
Nice.
I'm not a big fan, so I went.
Fair enough.
I went actually.
I'm mostly for the old stuff.
Yeah, I went to see Tribulation. They were opening for them, but I was talking to some friends, and I was telling them about your record, and I was like, "You guys got to check out this album when it comes out October 25th." And they were asking me, "Oh, can you elaborate?" And I'm like, "No, you got to listen to it and press play." I had a hell of a time putting words in my review to explain to people how this album sounds. You can't. You have to press play, because I think it's a record that it's going to make everybody feel a very different way towards it, depending on how you approach it in your own state of mind. So I think it's a record that has a life of its own, just like that song has. Where if you listen to the album 10 times, those 10 times you're going to have a different experience coming out of it. And that's the beauty of a record like this. When you're putting it together, are you even thinking about playing it? Are you like, okay, this sounds amazing, this is a great record, but eventually we have to play these songs live, at least some of them?
Yeah, of course, that goes into the whole picture. We want to release music we can play live. So whenever in 2 months or 10 years, if we suddenly want to play a certain song, we can do that.
Yeah, we're able to that.
We can play all our songs.
We've been all around Access, and we will also be all around this one.
Yeah,
the acoustic one and everything.
Because you guys are playing at Epic Fest, I'm going to be there. You guys are playing
very nice.
in Denmark. I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
My son and I
awesome.
will be there. How much of this record now is going to start to take over set lists to come, not just for that festival, but for festivals and tours?
And I would say that we will stick to the Access material for 35-40% of the show.
We actually right these days we're in the middle of beginning to talk about this actually. So I would say something like that. We want to play 5, 6, 7 songs or something from Kinship as fast as possible, and I also think it will be there will be some concerts where we'll play the whole thing for sure.
Yeah, we talked about if it's an hour, for instance, we would do Garganay and Tower and waves below from Axis, and then the rest will just be kinship stuff.
When I listen to your music, I always find that I'm discovering new things with the music that you guys create. But when you're creating your own music, how much are you discovering about yourselves during that process?
I think that that question is connected with you having perhaps a bit of a hard time describing us to your friends at that concert, because I think what is one of the most inspiring and really funny, things to do in this band is that we work so freely, like with our music. When we approach being creative with music, we go into it from perspectives that gives us an enormous amount of freedom to express ourselves, and that also means that we get to we can almost like tell ourselves, let's try and go even further that way with the music, even further, and then something comes up and it's, wow, we've never sounded quite like that, but that's fucking awesome. And that's a matter of, we never say, okay, we're here in the composition now, and now we need to go death metal, or now we need to go. We never use labels like that. We always talk about, we're in the middle of a story unfolding or an experience unfolding, and from there, what do we want to tell, and which feelings should come into play here, and which colors. Sometimes we describe or or it with pictures of nature or pictures of something, How would you describe it if you wrote it in a book, where we should go now with the music or something,
Yeah, should it go upwards here or downwards or into something closed, or should it open up? It's terms like that. But when we are in the process and all that, and when we are at the finish line with the master, we are not like I'm not discovering new things, because I know all the things that are there, and I've heard the music thousands of times.
Yeah, that's true.
But the way I feel about the music, that can change a lot. And sometimes I can be surprised. I can be like, okay, this was my favorite piece for half a year, and but this piece over here, or this song, this is the shit.
This is better.
And so that can change and change.
Yeah, that's changing all the time.
Yeah, how I feel about it. Yeah.
And still also with the songs from Access All Worlds.
Yeah.
And that's just that gives you the feeling of the music being alive, even though you wrote it yourself. Yeah.
Do you guys, because the album is around the corner, October 25th, the record comes out.
Yeah.
Do you guys look for what other people say about the record? There's that. How much does that matter for you? Like opinions like mine or opinions of other people who are reviewing the record? How much stock do you put in it?
In the process, when we write music and create it, we try as much as possible to be in a bubble where we are very focused, not on thinking about how people will react.
Absolutely.
And how the album will take on its own life out in the world. That would just pollute our process. So we really, in our mindset, have to keep it tight when we make the music, and make sure that the path from ourselves to what we create is as pure as possible.
Yeah.
When the music gets out, we check up on all reviews. We go on social media. We watch your videos, with a lot of enjoyment, because it's not important to us what people think about the music. They can like it or dislike it. That's okay. But the connection that people make and gives the music energy by put their spotlights on it, and tell their opinion, and being generally just motivated by music and love music. That's very inspiring for us.
Yeah,
and we definitely,
and motivating.
It's motivating
very
also.
Much. Yeah,
there's a connectedness in that aspect that is very meaningful to us, and that we are humbled about, and in which we find a lot of gratitude. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are two beautiful souls, and the band is a bunch of beautiful souls in this band, and your music is cotton candy to my soul.
That's perfect.
I'm good. I'm not diabetic, but it's cotton
Yeah.
candy to my soul. I don't have enough words to describe how good this record is. It's like I said, it's without a shadow of a doubt one of the best albums that we've seen so far. And we're at the end of the year, so there's not many more records to come out. Without a shadow of a doubt, one of the best albums the year has provided us with. Phenomenal record, top to bottom, from a design perspective to the execution to the vocal. I mean, there's nothing on this record that you could say, if they only had done that differently. There's nothing. There's absolutely nothing. It's as good as of an album as I've ever seen, and you guys keep moving the bar higher and higher. So you guys better get a ladder because with the third album, you're going to have to move it even
Yeah.
higher, and you have to go
We're,
up the
we're,
ladder.
We're trying to get one because the process of the next one is beginning.
Yeah.
So we need a ladder.
Yeah, you need a ladder, and with greatness comes expectation. So people will expect even more great things
Yeah.
from you guys. And I just want to say thank you for creating this album. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me today about it. And I'm looking forward to not only meeting you guys, but to finally seeing you guys play these songs live at
Oh,
Epic
yeah.
Fest in 2025. And
Yeah.
I'm just so excited to be in Denmark, to go to the festival and see you guys perform.
Yeah. Thank you so much, and thank you for having us
Yeah.
on your
Very
show,
much.
and it means a lot to us. And it's we can stay in touch and
Yeah, and meet at the festival,
yeah,
and
bring some.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely meet up there. We'll have a chat there as well. Because by then it'll be 6 months since the album came out, roughly.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I
Yeah.
want to talk to you guys about how those 6 months have been, and if the album has met or surpassed all of your expectations. Once
Yeah.
again, guys, congratulations. Thank you for the time today.
Thank you so much. Thank you.